So this is what I came up with. So you can actually see a couple of the dowels if you're looking for them. But I did, like on the pieces that stack, like the amplifier housing, I actually glued, 3 of these together with dowels first, and then before they went onto the assembly, I used a flush trim bit on the router to clean the edges inside, just to square them up with each other really nicely, as well as on the outside, did that as well. Same thing here on this corner. I did these pieces with the dowels, clamped them together, and then I actually cleaned them up with the belt sander and whatnot before they went together inside the box. So lots of glue. Look at that. There's a little bit of a little wonky on that back edge, but I think once it's carpeted or upholstered, it'll be fine. But so I put the face in there up against the old box, and initially on the fit up, I did notice that there's going to be a little bit of a space down here on the front fender, so I'll have to, probably just make some pads for the fenders to help cover that, because when you're trying to put something upholstered against something that doesn't even have carpet or nothing, it's kind of a fucker. But so ready to start getting some materials and covering this thing up and filling it with some electronics. They got where my lights are going to go. I got a hole that actually a channel that goes out to the backside and then pokes out through the panel behind it for wiring. That way it's not getting pinched down here. So that'll be the trick with the wiring, because these amps wire from both sides. So when I take wires out, I gotta make sure they're not getting pinched on the fender. So go stick it in the truck, take a video and show you what it looks like. All right, so here we are on the inside. And so you can clearly see I got a nice gap, pretty good sized gap. And what that is, I'm looking at it now, is when I templated this, I templated it on the back face up against the actual where it mounts to the wall panel. And now that it's 4 inches thick, I didn't account for that there's a taper on the front of that actual fender well. It's not completely just square across. It actually gets bigger as it goes out. So it probably fits really good on the backside, but in here, that's enough of a gap. I'll probably cut some shim stock and glue something in there and work that corner over. But you can see it's just barely high from the side rail. So like maybe 1/8 of an inch, I'm okay with that. And follows it back pretty good. Looks really good back here on the fender. You can see that, what light you can see there, I can't actually even get, a fingertip in there, not even my pinky. So over top the body mount, and then all the way back, and the corner here, it's perfect. There's just that little tiny bit of room for the wiring to poke up through if we needed to. But I deleted everything on the top. But so then this back corner, you can see there's a little bit of overlap here, but I'll be able to upholster all this. But what I can actually do is I'm probably going to sand all this and round it so that it's a smoother transition for upholstery to go around the vinyl, and I think I'm going to leave this edge sharp and then these edges sharp. I was thinking about radiusing them a little bit, but I don't know. There's sharp body lines on these 4Runners. So that's looking pretty good. I'm almost there. A little bit of sanding and a little bit of fill work, and I'll have this one pretty much ready to go. And then I just got to build a mirror image for it to go over there. All right, so I fit it back in the truck again. Decided to round this corner up for when we wrap it, get a smoother look. I put a little recess right here to tuck it into where you would want to stitch. I went ahead and shaped this corner insert to where my tester piece of vinyl will stretch over it nicely, be able to wrap around the backside, glue it in place. I was taking pictures of what I did here. I printed off the specification picture, the PDF of the 2-channel amp and the 4-channel amp, which has extra larger recess for double RCAs and then larger output speaker wires than the single set of RCAs and the 2-channel amplifier. I put those into the table and scaled them 1-to-1 according to the dimensions that were given, and then created a template And from that template, I created another template right here with the holes in it so that I could put that and screw that in and then cut it with the flush trim router bit. Also went ahead and put a corner in these, and then I sanded the back side of it out to give it to match that radius or that angle that the fender sits at, because on the initial fit it was actually hitting this inside one right here and it was gapping this a little bit. So now I can check it again, and I believe I can start wrapping it. All right, so I got the speaker box out so I could put some the acrylic in there. Now you can see past the acrylic that it's still covered in dust because, well, it's gonna be a bitch to get that clean, but it's carpeted behind there. It's ready to put the amplifiers back in there. Obviously I put the logo on it. It's actually smooth on the face here. Logo is cut into the back side of that, and it grabs the LED pretty good. Oh yeah, baby. I like that.